What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and part 2 of the Nokia Lumia 920 review starts in just a second. But first, going to give some love to my boys at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you won't deal with rebates. You're going to walk out the door paying $100 for this Lumia 920. You don't have to deal with paperwork or waiting 8 to 10 weeks or dealing with just obnoxious paperwork. I hate it. You hate it. There's enough paperwork in life as it is. You won't deal with it at Best Buy Mobile. Let's walk out working with our device together, thanks to Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look. Lumia 920, it's part 2 of a review that starts right now. Part 2 of a review of the Nokia Lumia 920, and arguably this, along with the HTC Windows Phone 8X, are the two flagship Windows Phone devices this holiday season. There's a bunch of different devices coming out. The Lumia 822, the Lumia 810, the Lumia 820, the HTC 8S, and I'm sure there'll be variants of those in the coming months. That said, of course, the Ativ S and the Ativ Odyssey on Verizon on the Samsung side, but this is the flagship device along with the 8X for the year. This thing is packing a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 CPU, so it's packing quite the killer specs when it comes to Windows Phone, at least. A 4.5-inch HD display, an 8-megapixel camera. It can compete with the big boys in Android and, of course, iOS. And it's available for $100, so there's a nice value proposition in the price. Nokia is hedging it all on Windows Phone 8, and the Lumia 920 is the latest creation in their lineup. So obviously 5 different colors here, just to recap in case you missed part 1. Go back and watch it, but they're available in 5 different colors: white, black, blue, red, and yellow. And I just got a tweet. Woot! I don't know why that popped up, but it did. And so I got that. I don't know why I thought I had those notifications turned off, but that's okay. We'll turn it off just like that by swiping. Show you some of those features of Windows Phone 8. But let's jump right back in here and talk about something I was talking about in part 1, and that's customization. Now, in terms of Android, and arguably to me at least in terms of iOS, just in terms of how it's grown over the years, you don't get as much customization in Windows Phone 8. That said, it's offering some nice things over Windows Phone 7 and 7.5, utilizing what they've called in the past these Metro UI tiles. It still looks kind of Metro-y to me, even though they're not calling it that anymore. But we've got customization here where you can change the size of these if you so desire. So you know what? You can change Weather Channel, for example. We'll make it large, and then I can bring these out. And let's do it like that. And I can bring this up here. Actually, you know what we'll do? We're going to make that one small and do it just like that. So you can customize these as you see fit. Really make this device your own, and that's something I like a lot about Windows Phone 8. That said, in terms of Android with hacking, rooting, modding, and all the different user interfaces running atop Android, Sense, TouchWiz, Motorola's user interface, and more, there's obviously less customization to be had over on this side. That said, some colors, some new background choices, and more make this device pretty functional and finally compete with the big boys. And again, $100 for this device, you get some nice specs, even if it is a little bit of a weighty device in comparison. Something else I should point out, I don't have one in the house right now, but will have one hopefully in the next couple of days for dogfights. Nokia is including wireless chargers for free, and they're not available at least right now in the stores, but they're mailing those to buyers after they buy the Lumia 920. But wireless charging is a great feature, and it's something that for whatever reason, it's been around for a while. It's nothing new by any means, but finally manufacturers are starting to take off in the whole wireless charging kick. And so my hope is we'll see more of that in the holiday season. But you're seeing this on the Lumias, you're seeing this on a couple of Android devices, you're seeing this on the Lumia 920 as well. You just put it down on the charger, and much like the Palm, of course we saw it with the Pre as well way back when, but you can pop it down on the wireless charger, and it's much easier than having to plug in or find an outlet. Just pop it down on your wireless charger and you're good to go. Now, like I said, we'll cover that more in the dogfights in the next couple of days. But we're talking about Nokia's applications earlier in the part 1 version of this video. Let's take a look at Nokia Drive as well. So I want to show you, we'll start this up, and you can see this later. Manage maps. Let's just go ahead and finish this and see what we've got here. And you can see Nokia Drive as well. So kind of a turn-by-turn navigation service here where I can come in here, I can set my destination, I can save my location, I can go into 2D if I want to, and you can see my 2D version there as well. So that's really nice all around, and actually I don't know why it's turned, I'm not looking towards Richardson, am I? I guess I am, that's right, now that I think about it, yeah. And so you can see North Dallas here, just like that. And then of course I can go back home, and I'll show you the multitasking as well. Realize I'm kind of jumping around here, but this is what multitasking looks like, and it's kind of a a half-baked version of multitasking, if you will. Nothing in comparison to even iOS, and especially nothing in comparison to Android, but still you do get some amount out of the box of customization, some amount of multitasking out of the box as well. Let's take a look at camera, and we'll take a look at some of the office features as well. 8 megapixel camera here, 1080p HD video recording, and Nokia includes some additional lens. You got, of course, the CNN iReport lens that comes with the actual application. You've got Bing Vision, and then you've got a couple of more that you can download, Panorama and things like that. We'll take a look at Microsoft Store, for example, and you can see in here you got 2 different stores, branded stores. AT&T Store, where you can download all the AT&T stuff. If for whatever reason you uninstall it and decide you want it back. But then here are the camera features. Smart Shoot, which we'll come in here and take a look. Take pictures, 5 frames for each picture, and then I can pick the best faces. So I can install this, for example. We'll take a look at that while it's installing and let that download. Huh, that's odd. Store is not available at the moment. Let's see what's going on. There we go. So Smart Shoot's 1, and I can come back in here. And then I can do, and of course Words with Friends is available now, but I've got Groupon, a couple of different applications. But then in terms of Cinemagraph Creative Studio, I've got Panorama as well if I want that. But I really want to focus on this one because it competes with some of the other options on the market. Let me find the little application here. Where'd it go? Smart Shoot, there it is. Bingo. So let's run this and hold the phone steady, as it says. And let's see what we've got here. And looks like I can change face, erase object, or save. So I've copied the best of the best there. It's kind of hard to demonstrate here with, and it's kind of similar to best faces on Samsung devices. But you got the ability to snap a picture and kind of hold it, as you can see. And it's taking basically 5 pictures, and you can pick the one that looks the best out of the group, and I can flick through and find what I believe to be the best shot. So that's a great lens on top of the camera as well. And of course you got your camera shortcut button over here on the right. So that one's going to be added in here now. And I've got, of course, Panorama, as we saw. I can change the flash. I've got some other settings in here that I can do. Photo settings. I can change the ISO if I want to. The scene mode. So coming into auto, for example, I can do night portraits, which the Lumia 920 really shines in night portraits. That's something that it especially does well. And we can take a look here. I'm going to turn the light off. So bear with me and let's see if this works. You're going to see the light from my computer screens, but let's take a look here versus the HTC 8X and see which one comes out on top. So lights are off, save for my lighting in the background. And let's just take a look at the Lumia 822 box here in this low lit. So we're going to do a night shot. And let's take a look at some text or something. Let's see. That'll work. Let's put it over here in the dark area. And let's see what else we've got here. And this is obviously not the best indicator of the camera performance, but this will give you kind of an idea, kind of wet your whistle, so to speak, so you can take a look. This is a device you're interested in. And you can see the difference here between in low light and then low light on the 8X as well. Let's do it without a flash too, so we can compare in that way. I'm spending a lot of time on this. I hope you find this useful, because I do think it's a pretty useful feature on both of these devices, or on the Lumia 920. So let's see here. That one. Let's turn the flash off over here. And let's see what we got. There we go. And so there's that one, and then there is that one. I kind of missed the shot. But you can see the text is pretty clear over here in the night shot, and then you can see the comparison over here. Let's take a look and see if I got the ETSI. So you can kind of see kind of a similar shot there. Line it up so we can get kind of a comparative shot. There we go. And you can see text is a little bit more legible over on the Lumia 920 than it is on the 8X. Now obviously that's not the best test in the world, because it's text. It's not actually a real night shot that you, let me turn the light back on. You can see what the Lumia 920 does. A pretty impressive job all around right there. Last but not least, I want to show you Microsoft's stuff that comes out of the gate. You got music and videos, then you have Office out of the gate here, and you've got a bunch of different Office applications. And the best part about Windows Phone 8 is they're trying to really promote this SkyDrive thing, because they're trying to make it similar to Google Drive with Gmail, with apps, with things like that. So when you're doing a Google Doc, for example, you know how it syncs automatically to Google Drive. Well, SkyDrive's trying to do that as well. So the good thing about Windows Phone 8 is if you pair it with Windows 8, let's say you're in the middle of a document, a Word document, for example, on your Windows 8 computer, you can sync it right up to your phone, so you can walk out the door, and on your Lumia 920 you can pick up right where you left off on this. So for example, I could be in the middle of writing a story, writing some piece of content, whatever the case may be, and I can jump right in pretty quickly and pretty easily into Microsoft Office, and that's a feature I really like all around. So you do have that functionality there, and then of course you have Excel, and then you have PowerPoint view access, and you have OneNote capabilities right down here as well. So I can do some quick OneNote. So quite a bit of applications out of the box, and like I tell you in all these videos, it's all about the value proposition these days, because when you get to it, between the three OSs, this one's a little bit less mature than iOS and then Android, but when you get down to the OSs, there's a bunch out there. In terms of iOS, in terms of Android, and all the different variations of Android, it's really dependent on the software ecosystem now. I think Windows Phone 8 has been behind for years. They're finally catching up, and you can see, obviously, not to interrupt myself, but you can see that when you have the actual live tile as a bigger tile, it shows more information. Obviously, less information the smaller you have it. So you can really customize. If Weather Channel matters to you, you don't give anything about CNN, you could care less. You can make that one a small one, and you can make the Weather Channel a big one, and kind of customize the information as you see fit. But like I was saying, it's all about software. It's all about the ecosystem that matters most to you. I think this one has come up a great deal versus Windows Phone 7 and 7.5. That said, I think it still has a little bit of room for growth in comparison to iOS and Android. But at $100, that's a pretty decent price point, and it's worth considering. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of the Lumia 920. We'll have dogfights, comparisons, and more, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron. Let me know what you think of the Lumia 920. Can the Windows Phone 8 compete with Android? Can it compete with all these different high-end devices on the market? The Galaxy S3, the Note 2, the iPhone 5, the Droid DNA, the LG Spectrum 2, all these different devices. Admittedly, I just looked at my desk to see which devices are out on my desk right now. But, there are a bunch of different high-end devices, and this device is intended to compete with that. Granted, it's the lower price point, still trying to compete with the top brass from Apple, Samsung, and HTC. So we'll see. But let me know what you think. PhoneDog_Aaron on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB, and be sure to enter our greatest tech giveaway ever, too, at Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, we'll see you next time.